So, today we're going to be discussing how to find slope by looking at a table. So first we need to know, what is our slope? Well, when we were looking at our word problems, we were generally using our equation y equals mx. Well, this letter m is going to be our rate of change. So now it's also going to be known as our slope when we're looking at lines on a graph or we're looking at tables. So if we're looking at a rate of change, what are we looking for a change of? Well, we're looking for a change in y over a change in x. Now, what does that look like to you? That looks like a fraction to me. So that already tells me what operation I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to be doing division. So I'm going to have my y on top. Okay, I'm going to write myself a little t, so I know that's on top. And my x is going to be on my bottom. My y is my numerator, and my x is my denominator. Made my little notes there. So now, I'm going to do 3 divided by 1, which will give me 3 divided by 1, or 3. Now I want to take a look at the next one. Write my little division sign. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 2, which is also reducing down to 3. Now let's take a look at 9 over 3. That's a 3, I promise. So now that also reduces down to 3. Let's check my 12 and 4. 12 divided by 4 also gives me 3. And my last one here, 15 divided by 5, also gives me 3. So my 3 here is going to be my rate of change, or my m, my slope. So now I can rewrite this as y is equal to 3x. Let's take a look at another example. So we have this table, and we're going to continue to use y is equal to mx. We know we're really just trying to find our m here. So now let's take a look. We know that we're looking for a change in y over a change in x. So we know we have to have our y as our numerator and our x as our denominator. So let's do 10 divided by 2. 10 over 2 simplifies down to 5. Now I move down. I do 20 divided by 4. That also gives me 5. And I do 30 divided by 6. That also gives me. I move down to 40 over 8, which also gives me 5. And last but not least, I do 50 over 10, which also gives me 5. So when they all come out to these same numbers, we can see that this is going to work out. And what you'll work on next year in 8th grade is learning about functions. And you'll see if the slope is consistent, it's going to be a function. So I can see 5 is going to be my rate of change, or my slope. So I'm going to rewrite this as y is equal to 5x. So let's take a look at this third table here. So remember, we're using y equals mx, and our m is going to be our change in y over change in x. So again, we're going to be using division. So if I have 24 divided by 3, write that here, it's going to give me 8. Then I'm going to move down. 40 divided by 5 also gives me 8. 64 divided by 8 will give me 8. 80 divided by 10 will also give me 8. And last but not least is 104 divided by 13, which also gives me 8. So my rate of change, or my slope, is going to be 8. So I'm going to rewrite this as y is equal to 8x. So let's take a look at one last table. So again, we're going to be working with y is equal to mx, where m is going to be our change in y over change in x. We're going to quick do our division here. So that's going to give us 1/3. Well, that can't be simplified anymore, so we're going to leave it as that. Move on down, we have 2 divided by 6, and that can actually be simplified down to 1/3. Now I'm going to look at the next one. I have 3 over 9, which also will give me 1/3. Then I have 4 over 12, which will give me 1/3. And last but not least, I have 5 over 15, which will also give me 1/3. So that 1/3 is going to be that rate of change for me. So it's going to be y is equal to 1/3 x. So your rate of change won't always be a whole number. Your rate of change could be a fraction. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact your teacher.